Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for this card making tutorial. We are going to be doing a sort of one sheet wonder type project today, and I'm going to be featuring the Impressions Abloom stamp set. This is a retiring stamp set, so it's currently on last chance. I think the coordinating dies have already sold out, I think, but nonetheless, it is a really great set without the dies, just to create some really pretty backgrounds. Does have sentiments, but today I'm going to use the Simply Said stamp set to create my sentiments. Another brilliant staple. I've used this so many times, so really worthwhile getting this one. Okay, an alternative sentiment set would be this one, Fabulous Sayings. Lots on here, and this is actually the product of the month for January, so you can get this for just £5 with a qualifying order. Just take a look at the website and you'll be able to see more details on that. Okay, so if you just click any of my product links in the description, it takes you to the online store and you'll be able to see that. Okay, right, let's get on, because this will be a longer video. Okay, but there's quite a lot of repetitive steps, so if you want to put me on double speed, please do. Okay, so we're going to end up with at least 5 cards. You could probably get 6, but we're going to use our one sheet wonders to create our background. For a full background, we're going to use the smaller ones. We're going to create this lovely little window effect. We're going to cut it at an angle, and we're going to use the other piece like so. So you can see how I've just added the sentiments either directly on the card or using some punches as well. Okay, so this is what we're aiming for. I've already pre-cut the there's 5 card bases ready to go, just in thick basic white half sheets scored. Okay, so they're all ready to go. Oh, probably should tell you what colours I used. So this is Azure Afternoon, Balmy Blue and Pool Party, with Granny Apple Green and Lemon Lime Twist, with Crumb Cake in the centre. So you can see there's been I did first, second and third generation stamping on that, just to get a different look. Okay, and then we've got this basic beige ribbon, which I'm going to use again, and we've got the antique pearls. Okay, these are cute. Okay, so I'm not going to do a 12 by 12. I'm actually doing a 6 by 12, which is exactly what I did on there. So this is just the other half of that sheet. This is the White Willow cardstock. You can see this is the piece of paper I had underneath when I did that. So we're going to get stamping, and we're going to use a completely different palette. The larger flower on the samples used this stamp, this one. We're going to switch it for this one, just to give it something different. Okay, so there it is on a D block, and we're going to use Timid Tiger ink. And we're going to get a stamping. Okay, so just all over the place really, and I'm twisting and turning the stamp so it's sort of in different orientations, sort of a quarter turn each time, that kind of thing. If I put that up there, I can move it along, can't I? Or you could just use a bigger piece of paper underneath. So we want it going off the edges, so just fill that in as much or as little as you want. We are obviously going to go round with that smaller bloom, so that looks okay to me. Sort of evenly spaced here and there, that's what we're going for. Okay, right, I'm not going to do the centre straight away because I can do the first and second generation ink and not waste it, right? Okay, but what I am going to do, I'm going to do my first set of leaves. Well, my leaves actually. I didn't put any leaves around the small blooms. I'm just going to put them on the big ones, and then we're going to fill in afterwards. Okay, so that was Timid Tiger. Okay, and my foliage, we're going to start off with Pretty Peacock. And there's 2 leaves. There's like one with detail on, and there's one that's just plain. Okay, all right, so we'll do the detailed one first in the Pretty Peacock, and we're going to do first and second generation ink, like so. To fill this in. Okay, if you want a real masterclass on this kind of technique, you want to watch Artful Stamping by Ruth. She is magnificent at doing these. Okay, so some of these techniques are things that, you know, she teaches in her videos. So I'm going to do 2 sets of these. I'm just trying to do them in different directions. Okay, takes a little bit of time, but I think, you know, once you get into a rhythm, it's actually quite a relaxing little technique to do. Okay, so we'll just go round. And like I say, if you don't particularly want to watch and listen to me drone on in the background, you can zap through this. No problem. Pretty Peacock's beautiful. So I did just grab my colour wheel when I was thinking about which colours to use here. And I think these go quite nicely. I love Pretty Peacock anyway. It's one of my faves. Okay, so I've got leaves around all of those now in this detailed image. But we're also going to use the solid one, but we're going to use Lost Lagoon. So a similar thing, but we're only going to do 1 set of these. I keep putting it there because it's habit, but it gets in the way. So we'll do a similar thing and put these in different places on our blooms. And you know, you're not looking to make a pattern per se, just do what you feel, really, what you think looks good, and twizzle your cardstock and do what you need to do, really. Let's put some here, I think. That out a little bit. There we go. And this one hasn't got any. This one. There we go. Cool. Right, I think all the blooms have got both sets of leaves now. Okay, all right. Then you might get little splodgy bits everywhere, but it doesn't matter. Some Ruth calls it dottage or splatter or stuff like that. That'd look good. So now we're going to fill in the gaps. So we're going to use Peach Pie and this smaller flower. And we're going to pop those in here and there to fill this up. Okay, so I'm going to try and sort of minimise the amount of white space, but we're not necessarily looking to fill it entirely. Just fill it out really and just make it look more complete. And going off the edges helps with that kind of concept as well. A bit like a wallpaper pattern, you know, they don't just stop at the edges, they carry on. Okay, I might leave that at that for now. We'll put that to one side, and then we're going to do some lemon lolly. Okay, oops. And similar thing really, this is a super pale colour, so you could you know, even do some little second generation ones as well, which are super faint, but you'd be surprised how much of an effect they can have on your project. Okay, so again, just looking to kind of fill in these gaps. Not twizzling the block as much as I probably should. There we go. It's a really cool technique. You might find because these are water-based inks, you might find that some of the other ink just picks up a little bit on the stamp, but I'm not bothered by that. It looks a bit empty. So the trick here is to try not to overthink it. It's kind of difficult to do sometimes. Okay, I think I might leave it at that, and I'm not going to add any more, I don't think. I think we're done, so let's pop those away. Then we can add the centres. I'm going to leave out the pretty peacock for the sentiments, I think, rather than introduce another colour, which is what I did on the other one. So our crumb cake ink then, I'm going to need the other stamps for that, because that centre is actually the larger one. On the other project it was the same size, so let's just grab that. So I could have done those first off then, couldn't I? Mind. Grab myself another block. And we'll use this stamp inside the Timmy Tiger ones. I think there probably is a direction to these because it's not quite round, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, one more. Oh, there's one on the edge there. I think I got them all. Okay. So wipe that off, and then this one we'll do peach pie and a lemon, and then we could do the third generation in the little pale ones as well. Peach pie, lemon, third. Peach pie, lemon, third. And then at least, you know, your stamped off ink isn't going to waste, if you get what I mean. Did that wrong, but that's fine. There is no right and wrong really. Just go with it. Don't overthink it. Easier said than done, but yeah. Okay. cool. Like it. And these little faint images are really it's you know, adds something to the background in a very, very subtle way, so it sort of lets you know that something is supposed to, it was there, if you know what I mean. Cool. You think you've done them, and you think you might have done, and then you find that there's a whole load of other ones that you haven't done. Ooh, this bottom edge here. I think that might be all of it. Oh, one up there. I think I got them all. Okay, right, lovely. Great. So that's all our stamping done in terms of the oh, this one. Golly. Nope, small one. That's crazy. Okay. It's like one of those mind games. Okay. Right, let's get cutting this down then. Okay. So we'll need our paper trimmer. So this is 12 inches, so we've got our sections that we can cut. So the first panel is going to be a full panel that we need. So we're going to cut that at 4. We're also going to have one where we're going to sort of cut it at a funny angle, so we'll do another but we're going to make that a little smaller. We're going to make that what's that called, 3 3/4. And then I'm going to do this one just going to twizzle that round and cut the end of it first, just thinking in my head, because you know, brain. Right, 4 3/4 by 3. And then we've got these bits left over. So I'm going to fiddle that the other way around. I'm going to cut this at 1 inch, but use that other piece at the other measurement there. Don't worry about all these feathery bits, we can sort that out with a little paper file. So I'm going to just cut some 1 inch squares basically. So I'm going to do 1 and 2. Oops, that's my score blade. And I'm going to keep those together. How long is that? Oh yeah, I can. One and 2. Volley. So keep those together. So the only thing I've got left is this one, so you could make a 6th card quite easily, so that might be a bonus on the blog when I've done that. Okay, so just going to take a sanding block and just tidy up those edges. So if you just sort of sand this. Oh, I haven't finished trimming things. That one's done. That's the size I need it. This feathery edge, by the way, is just my blade on my trimmer needs replacing, but I haven't done it yet. My full panel, I put this at 4. I just need to trim it down to 5 3/4, and then you've got to sort of decide which end you're going to cut off. So if you cut off this end, you're going to end up with quite a bit of white there. If you cut off this end, you probably got it a bit more balanced. So sometimes you just need to have a look at it and just see where you want that to go. So this is a full card but layer. That's what I call that, 4 by 5 3/4. This one is an inch shorter and narrower, which is, so it's 3 by 4 3/4. Okay, right, so full layer, an inch smaller and narrower. Okay, this one's longer, still 4 no it's not, it's narrower, isn't it? So it was 3 3/4. And I'm just going to leave it at the 6. And what we're going to do is cut this at an angle. Okay, so we're going to line up one of the points on the 1 inch mark. I always have to think about this. So I want to do 1 inch from the 1 inch from there and 2 inches from there. Let me just check my sample. I want 2 inches and 1 inch, so I have to sort of visualize where I want it to be. So point gosh darn it, my brain, I tell you. So have it at, so there's my 2 inch line, there's my 1 inch line. Yeah, okay. So the cut edge, the bit you're cutting off, both corners need to be on this side of the blade. Right, okay, yeah. So that's 1 inch down, that's 2 inches down. And cut. And we'll sort out the feathery bits. Do the same on the other side. 2 inch line, 1 inch line, and cut. Okay, and then you've got this bit in the middle. So let's tidy up those edges as well. I hadn't realised I'd run out of blades, and they are currently winging their way across to me from the Stampin' Up warehouse. I should be here next week, along with some new goodies. So I didn't cut down the length on this, I just left it the way it was at 6 inches. Okay, right, all that stuff, so that will go back together like a jigsaw piece. Okay, okay, so we'll do this one in a minute. Let's do some of the easier ones. Right, so what I've already done ahead of time, we're not layering this one. This one's going to go straight onto its card base. Okay, this one is going to be layered, and I've already cut some Pretty Peacock two-tone cardstock. Oops. So there's a light and a dark to this, but I'm going to use the light side. Okay, so this measures, what does this measure? This measures, the Pretty Peacock measures 3 1/8 by 4 7/8. Remember, it's an inch shorter and narrower than the card base. Yeah, so my card base would be 4 1/8, so this is 3 1/8 by 5 7/8, so this is 4 7/8. Line that up. So that's my layout for card number 2. Okay. Number 3, we've got this sort of window look, if you like. So our 4 little inch squared bits are going to go on here. So again, just tidying up those edges. Now I'm going to pop these on. Well, I'm just going to work out which one I want them first. So sort of one, I don't necessarily want them to join together. So let's do that. Let's do that. I want to have a bit of balance to it. So, but see how that lemon lolly bit is in the bottom left, and that one would be in the bottom left. I'll make it like that. Yeah. So it's kind of a bit random. I did join them together on the other one, but I think just having it random's cool. Okay. So we'll pop those on. I think I'll just use a bit of wet glue for this. It's little teeny tiny squares. That's loads. So that'll be. And it also means that I can get my spacing right. Okay, so you want about 1/8 of an inch around each one, I think. I'm not measuring it, of course, because I don't. But I'm not pressing hard on that. I'm just sort of popping them roughly into position, and then we'll make sure that they are lined up where we want them to be, and then we'll pop one of our stamp blocks on top. Okay, that will do nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that at the top of my desk there. I'm going to pop one of my D blocks that I was just using on top of that to sit and dry. So here's another piece of the peacock. This is 4 inches wide, so it's going to fit on my card base, but obviously it's going to create a nice border around our little panels here. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically reassemble our sheet, but what we're going to do is leave a gap. So layer this as you would do normally, 3 edges, get it lined up as best you can. Okay, then we're going to do our middle section. Oops, Stampin' Seal. Doesn't matter if it doesn't, like, you know, we're just going to cut it apart anyway, and they're going to be used on separate cards, so it doesn't matter that they don't line up with the pattern. But you want this gap to be twice what you want it, so we can just cut through it. So I'm going to go about there, lining up my bottom edge and my top edge so that they look straight. and then hopefully we've got enough room at the bottom. This was just an offcut, it just had a little bit missing. Yeah, I've got plenty of room. So I was kind of certain I had enough on the length there, but what you could have done, that could have been a full 12-inch. In fact, that's going to be easier this way around. Full 12 inches, and then you could have just cut it down, you know, the length down at the end. But I was kind of confident that this was going to fit, so there we go. Et voila. So we can bring back our trimmer. If you get like the little paper doohickeys in there, if you just take a brush and just brush it out, and if it gets really stuck like that one has, use a pokey tool and just get it out. That also won't help your cutting blade if you get bits and pieces in there, so just get those out. Usually it comes out first time, but of course because you guys are watching, it didn't. So I'm just going to use my trimmer, and we're going to line that up. I'm just going to look for that just disappearing off the edge. That should be okay. It'll be roughly right anyway. That'll do. And then just like we did before, we'll line it up. We'll look for that cutting track to line up in the middle of that gap there. And you know, if it isn't absolutely straight, I'm not too fussed. Easy to twistle it around. Again, just oops. Just lining that one up. Just eyeballing it. I'm not going to measure it. I'm just doing it totally by eye. And now I've got my 3 panels layered up. So I'm going to use these 2 on a card and this one on a card. Okay, right, all layered up. Right, this guy, yeah, should be dry. And I've got another square already cut. This is from the Stylish Shapes. Okay, and we need ribbon. Okay, let's finish off this top up. So I'm just going to cut a length of that to wrap around, and a bit that I'm going to tie around it in a knot. Okay, that's going to go around the middle somewhere like that. No one's going to see this. At the back. So you can just tack that down, and we'll add our little square here with some dimensionals. You can decide which way around you want it. Kind of built it that way, so once you've sort of put something down and you've kind of put it in, it kind of looks weird if you then start twizzling it around a lot of the time. So we'll pop that on like so, and then like I say, this bit's just going to go in underneath there. Use my poker tool. I was going to use my tweezers, but it was a bit too tight, so there we go. And we'll just tie that into a knot. Do it as a double knot if you want to, and then trim as you see fit. There we go. So that's that topper done as well. Okay. So that's ready for that card. We need to pop ribbon around this topper as well. So again, just like we did before, we'll cut a length and secure it with some tape. Oops, that's too big a tape. Let's cut that in half. Okay, and again, it's like, which way do you want it? Just to sort of balance your card, because I don't want to cover up the pretty bit with the sentiment, you know what I mean? So I'm going to put that this way around. And then we've got this nice bloom towards the bottom, underneath where we're going to pop our punched sentiments. So you're seeing a lot of the process here today. Okay, and that one's going to go on to that card. I'll add a bow at some point, and this one's going straight on. Okay, right, so, but we do need some, where did I put my rolled ribbon? There it is. So again, it's like, which way around do you want this to maximise how you're going to yeah, I think I'm going to put it that way around. So exactly the same. Secure that. That a bit close, didn't I? Mind, as long as it's on, it's fine. Okay, this one's going straight flat on, so I'm going to pop this straight onto my card base now. My chair's squeaky again. Don't know. I did get some grease for it, but it seems to have started to creak again. Right, so that one's ready for its bow and its sentiments. As is this one. I'll just pop this one on. Doing this one flat as well. Oh, it's like a hair. There we go. Okay, bow and a sentiment will go on to those. And this one needs to go on. And it will just have its sentiment stamped on, because we've already got the knot in place, because we have to do it as we built our topper. Around there, I reckon. So those just need sentiments. And then these guys we're doing now. So you could split these across two cards, but I'm not. I'm going to pop them on the same card. Let's put the glue on the back of this one as well, save a bit of time. Oh, goodness, someone's just gone speeding down the road. Right, lining that up at the bottom. And then turn it round and line it up at the top. We've got this nice funky shape in the centre. Ready for a sentiment, and then our last one is this one. So again, you know, up, down, whichever. So I'm going to make it reasonably central, I think. Probably a little on the upside than the downside, but it doesn't matter. You could shove it all the way down or whatever you want. Okay, so these ones with the angled panels, then we're just going to use our happy birthday sentiment from the Simply Said stamp set, and we'll use our Pretty Peacock ink. Because this is nice, sort of long and narrow kind of sentiment, it'll fit really nicely along this edge. Just line it up and be brave. I'll do the same with this one. I'll put this one in at the bottom here. Okay, that's those two with their sentiments on. They just need embellishments. This one we're going to use the thank you. So it's a nice straight sentiment that's going to fit nicely just underneath this lovely square. So we'll just pop that in, line it up nice and straight. And you can use the edges of the die cuts to help guide how straight that is. And then these two we need our punched sentiments for. So this one's going to be on a circle. So this is where I took my other ones. So we'll get both of these stamped. So we've got birthday wishes, which we're going to cut from with the oval. And we've got the just a note that we're going to cut from using a circle. Okay, so let's pop away our peacock ink now. I think we're actually done with that. So here's your modern oval that we can use for the this one. So just line that up around the sentiment and punch. And then we're going to be using the 1 3/4 circle punch for this. Could use dies, whatever you want. I just thought I'd show using punches because it's quick and easy. Okay. Right, both of these will need dimensionals. So, well, where did I put those? There they are. So I'm just going to turn that over. And I'm just going to put one at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock on that. Okay, so that's ready. And we're going to pop this one, like I say, over here. And I'm going to have it just cutting into that border, which also looks cute. Okay. This one, we've got these, got a nice edge on this, and I want it to sort of, you know, sit across there. So these edge strips are brilliant for this. So I'm going to cut into the edges there, and I'll put those along those straight edges, and it will sit nicely above those. And that's sort of filling up that white space there, so you still get as much of the flowers showing. Okay. And our embellishments are going to be these antique pearls. Okay, so got 3 sizes on these, which is awesome. And I've got 2 bows as well ready for these. Okay, so glue dots, just press that onto a glue dot, just pop that into place, and then you can cut your tails off to suit. And twist that a little bit so it's not obscuring the words as much. Oops. And then we've got 3 sizes of these, which I love because it means we can do a lovely little design triangle here. And that's card number 1. Card number 2, we also need our bow on there. I lost where I put my glue dots. My desk is covered in stuff. Okay, I'm going to put those away up there, just where they live, and we'll pop that on, and again we'll give those a little bit of a trim. Using the sharp part of the scissors preferably. And again we can just use our little dots here, and then this time we're going to do the big one up there, medium one here, and the little one up next to the big one up here, just for a slightly different look. Card number 2. And here's card number 3. So on this one I just popped a couple on rather than all 3, just to highlight that sentiment, like so. That's card number 3. And these guys, I'm just going to punctuate with the small ones. Oh. Until you press them down, you've got a little bit of a moment to, I don't know what that is. Hopefully I'll be able to get that little blemish off. I don't know where that's come from. A little bit of something on the end of my pokey tool, I think. There we go. That's that one. I'm just going to do 2 on this one, so but we're just going to use the medium one, and we're just going to do 1 at each end on this one. There we go. Right, it was a longer video, and there were mistakes made and fussing and all that kind of stuff, but I hope you've enjoyed watching this process to create 5 cards from one stamped piece of 6 by 12 hand stamped designer series paper, and I've got this strip which I can totally make another card out of. have a look on my blog and you'll be able to see what I did. It will just be very simple, either along the same lines, so pretty sure it's not going to be too much of a mystery, but I will do it and I'll show it. Okay, so I'm not going to go over that again in too much detail. Just I've just really enjoyed making these. I really liked the original set as well, so I think the orange is just beautiful. This was my other set that I did using the blues instead and the granny apple green. I think I know which ones are my favourites, but you can let me know which ones that you prefer. Okay, that's it from me. All the products I've used today are going to be listed in the description if you want to take a closer look at anything. And like I say, now's a good time to have a look in the store. There's lots of last chance items. We've got the new catalogue items, we've got new online exclusives, and we've got that new product of the month, that new sentiment set as well. So lots and lots to see, lots and lots to get excited about. Okay, thanks for so much everybody. Have a great week. I'll see you again soon. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you. Bye bye.